morning. My name is Carrie Paleo. I am the Executive Director of the Greater Utica Chamber of Commerce and your host for the Leveling Up podcast. First off, we have to start off by thanking the sponsors of today's episode, Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield, Delta Hotels, and EJA Moving Company. Thank you so much for your support for making this show possible. This week is a really exciting week. There's so many things going on. First off, it's National Small Business Week, and our Catalyst group has been out in the community recognizing small businesses. On Monday, they were at the Compound down in Baggs Square. Yesterday, they were on Genesee Street at Bradley & Bradley Real Estate. Today, right after this podcast, they'll be recognizing Sentinel Media Company, which has expanded into Utica with new employment and covering the Utica local news. Tomorrow, they will be recognizing Old School Bar and Grill at 4:30, and you can come join us for a cocktail there, seeing as it's Cinco de Mayo. And on Friday, they'll be at Fahey Kitchen and Bath. So we really want to recognize all the small businesses within our community. Small businesses are the major employer in the area, employing over 32 million people nationally. Small businesses are the backbone and why the chamber runs. And every dollar you spend at a local business really expands and stays within the community. So supporting local businesses supports your hometown too, and all of those great things that the community does. So we are really proud to support all of our local businesses this week. Speaking of the Catalyst Group, they have a meetup coming up next week. So the Catalyst Group is our young professional group. So if you are a member of the chamber and under 40, you are automatically eligible to be in the Catalyst Group. And they will be meeting next Wednesday, May 11th at 5 Points. So if you want to get to know your young professional community, you're interested in making new contacts, networking, volunteering, or getting engaged in the chamber in a different way, we encourage you to come on down, bring a coworker or a friend, and meet with other young like-minded professionals in the area. That group is also planning the second annual scavenger hunt, and that's going to be coming up on June 22nd. So we just want you to mark your calendars right now. Registration will be open soon, and that event will take place all over the city, getting into businesses, re-engaging with some of your favorite businesses, and maybe discovering some new favorites. So that's something to look forward to. In addition to National Small Business Week, it's also National Travel and Tourism Week. And we're very close partners with Oneida County Tourism. We work very closely with them, and so we're excited to celebrate all the economic impact that travel and tourism has on our area. Tomorrow, they are having a special event, and you can still get online and register for that at the John S. Dyson Energy Zone. And it's from 8:30 till 10, a tour of the energy zone and some light refreshments and some door prizes. So if you have an opening in your schedule, if you haven't been to the energy zone yet, I encourage you to join us. It's really, really exciting. Just a few really fun things going on in the area with our members that we want to make sure that you're aware of. This Friday, Munson Williams has their First Friday events. They do that the first Friday of every month, so you can look out for that on Friday evening. Next week, the Comets enter into the playoffs. So there's a playoff games between Rochester and the Senators this week, and whoever wins those playoff games, we will be hosting them here in Utica next week. So we'll have 2 games here next week for that. For our chamber events, next week is the last week for early registration for our Choo-Choo Golf Outing. Our 21st annual Chamber Choo-Choo Golf Outing is this August, the 19th. We have less than 10 teams available. I think there's actually 8 spots. So next week, early registration deadline is for that, and you want to get $100 off. You want to go ahead and register for that. And I think we have 8 teams available, so you want to get on board for that. And it's always such a fantastic day. This year, our Choo-Choo tournament is presented by Paslacqua and Associates, and so we're all excited to get on board, ride the train up to Thendara, play golf, and then come home for a leisurely scenic trainic ride aboard the Adirondack Scenic Trail Ride. Next week is our May Business After Hours. We will be at the House of Good Shepherd celebrating their 150th anniversary. And May is also foster care month. So learn a little bit about foster care and celebrate the 150th with us at the House of Good Shepherd. Again, you can register online for that. And this Friday, we also have a ribbon cutting celebrating a 1-year anniversary. We know a lot of businesses opened during COVID and maybe didn't want to do a big anniversary or a big ribbon cutting for their grand opening. Master Vito Hyundai opened 1 year ago. We'll be celebrating their 1-year anniversary with a ribbon cutting and cocktail party this Friday, May 6th at 5 o'clock is the ribbon cutting, and then the cocktail party 5:30 to 8. So check out the chamber and you can register for that as well. And then lastly, not lastly, because they are so important, it's also Teacher Appreciation Week. And so we have to thank all of our teachers, especially those who are members, Utica Academy of Science and the Tilton School at the House of Good Shepherd. The teachers there do amazing things. So happy Teacher Appreciation Week to all of our teachers. And speaking of Teacher Appreciation Week, I have with me today as my guest, Cristina Ferdinand from First Source Federal Credit Union. And if you didn't know, First Source Federal Credit Union started out the Teachers Union. So welcome, Cristina, and thanks for being here with me.
Thank you for having me. Yes, First Source did start out as the Utica Teachers Federal Credit Union in 1938. It was 11 teachers that actually were not feeling that their needs were being met, and they applied to establish the actual credit union. Jumping forward in 1992, we became First Source Federal Credit Union, and we still hold true to our education roots.
Yeah, and speaking of education roots, you're actually the community educator.
I am.
So you really get into the community in a number of different ways. So tell us a little bit about your role.
Well, the idea is to offer free financial education to anyone in need of that, from elementary school up to the collegiate level, to businesses and other non-for-profits. I also work with senior citizens, and there's a lot to think about. It's hard to say that I only talk about budgeting or credit, and there are so many different needs, and every time I'm in the community, it's a brand new experience. But for the majority of what we're talking about, it's really the basics of, the tools that you'll need to move forward and really be secure in your financial situation.
Fantastic. And so tell us, you talked a little bit about how you get in schools and give me like some specifics of things that you do.
Well, for starters, we offer our Bonsai program. That is our interactive online free financial tool. That's free for teachers to use in the classroom and actually have their students sign up and utilize that. And one great piece to that is there's an offering to interview a pro. So that's when that teacher might call out on me as the community educator and actually come in and allow those students to interview me and really hear the information from someone who's been in the field for, as long as I have, about 15 years. And not only schools, I've found that businesses are also using that Bonsai tool as well. There's a ton of information there to do with student loans, even preparing your own child for college, and making sure that you're prepared for the expenses and that entire experience.
So if a business is interested in offering the Bonsai program to their employees, how do they go about doing that?
They can actually visit our website at fsource.org, and under the Resources and Education tab, they'll find the links to community education. They'll also find a link to actually reach out to me, and maybe we could do a little one-on-one inside of the businesses or even set up a series of classes.
Yeah. And so you also mentioned senior citizens. You work with them. How do you work with senior citizens?
Well, recently it was actually out at Connected Community, the Senior Citizens Resource Center. And they have a gentleman's breakfast club and a women's breakfast club. And we talked a lot about budgeting. These are people who are on a fixed income. And as inflation happens and everything in the world changes, gas is at a high limit right now. I gave them some useful tools to, rebudget and some new things to consider when saving money. It's even as little as, are you looking to buy a new vehicle? Do you currently have that payment? Is it a brand new vehicle with a loan, or are you considering leasing? And discussing the best routes to take, to make it affordable to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you mentioned that you also do upcoming seminars. You have a number of things that ways people can get involved with you if their business isn't working with you or you're not, at their school or senior citizen center. You can join one of your upcoming seminars.
Absolutely. I'm currently working with Utica Section 8. We have a series of classes that will start rolling out in July. We have a series of educational classes actually with the Herkimer Chamber too. We recently had planned on offering a cyber awareness, but we had that large winter storm, or that spring storm, I should say. And with the loss of power, we had to renegotiate. I'm sure that there were some members that were looking for that. So hopefully we'll pick right back up where we left off. And we may be working that into June, and then we'll have another one in August and another in October. And we'll be covering things like budgeting, paying debts down, credit basics. We can even offer some onboarding for these businesses as well for the new employees.
Great. Fantastic. And you told me a little bit about something fun you do on Fridays.
Yes. Every 2 Fridays, I actually have a Financial Friday posted on our website at fsource.org. There's a direct link at the bottom of the page that will bring you to my page of quick tips and videos, coaches, and all sorts of educational topics for students, for adults. And each one is probably a 4 to 5 minute read, not much longer than that. And you'll find a lot of interactive tools to even assess your own financial wellness, to decide whether you should borrow money or utilize your savings, I mean, you have interest that you're collecting when you have that liquid cash, but you're also paying it when you borrow that money. Yep. So these are just easy tips to allow you to make the best decision for yourself, to educate yourself. Yeah.
So do you have like one of the recent tips that you might want to give people today? Or just kind of a little tidbit of what they'll find on there?
Yes. Actually, one in particular that I think is everybody could touch base, and it's a great resource for them. I actually put one up about cyber awareness, and that one comes along with a coach that will actually walk you through some scenarios, and you can interactively make a choice, and it will educate you. It sort of has scenarios like you're inside of a social media app, and it'll pretend that you're receiving a video message, but you have to allow certain access for that app. And when you make that decision, it might tell you if you've put yourself in danger or not electronically. And I follow up with that with new tips on how to make strong passwords. And I think that right now for businesses and consumers and people at home and students, we're all online, right?
Yeah. And all these apps, you have to put in a password.
Yeah.
And you have to, you can't use the same thing over and over again.
True.
I keep getting prompted, like, you've already used this password.
Yeah, you can't just use a nickname and then swap that number at the end anymore, right? They want, more than 8 characters sometimes, special characters, and there is no better way to go. And, we're actually advising our own employees and members to produce passwords that are over 20 characters at this point.
Wow.
I even have a graph, which I wish I had today, that shows the difference. There are so many ways that, a computer system can actually guess what your password is. And when you have 8 characters, let's say that it was somewhere around a 10,000 mark, they could do 10,000 tries and maybe guess your password. But when you move it up to 20 characters, it's something like 20 million.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's much, much safer to have that longer password.
Wow. Now we got to come up with all longer passwords. Yeah. That's going to be everybody's afternoon project.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about youth membership. That's something that you strongly encourage at the credit union.
Absolutely. I think that we have one of the greatest programs, in all of my years of banking that I've come across. The accounts are completely free, and they're offered to any youth a day old up to the age of 17. Anyone who's currently in a youth account would actually automatically move into our typical adult accounts. But the youth account actually allows the youth to be the owner and to control that account. anyone under the age of 18 obviously has to have a parent or a guardian on with them. And so we actually offer the opportunity for credit building by the time they're 16 as well,
wow.
which is something that you don't typically run into.
Yeah.
It's really great that the parent can be a part of the whole education, you know, teaching that child how to take care of their credit and build that credit, but also to use a credit card. Or even to learn the responsibilities of making a monthly payment if they need to buy a new vehicle. And, you know, some of our youth members, their first step is actually getting that first vehicle with a loan with their parents along with them.
Yeah, I think I'm right about that step. So.
Yeah. Well, you know where to go.
I do know where to go, and my son does need a new car, so.
And along with that, not only do they have the opportunity to build credit early, but for every $5 that's actually deposited into the savings account, you will receive one Kirby buck in exchange. And those Kirby bucks can be saved for various prizes that we've put a list together right on our website. Again, if you went to fsource.org and looked up our new memberships and youth memberships, there's an entire list there. But we offer day passes to the Utica Zoo and gift certificates to Sweet Frogs, and our newest one is Cookies, Q, and Creamery.
Yeah.
Yes, we actually ran out of those and had to get some new ones.
Every
within
kid
a week's
wants ice
time.
cream.
Absolutely. And you also, the member owner, well, the youth member would receive a newsletter that actually I put together with our team in our marketing department. And we always try to offer some kind of a fun contest or a coloring contest and some way to actually reach, you know, those members and let them know we're thinking about them and we're giving back.
Fantastic. Yeah, First Source is so great at giving back.
That's something that our initiatives are to do in every way that we can, you know, and that's why I'm here to offer that free education and to build, you know, more of a fun experience for our youth.
Yeah. So, and then when you think about youth, the next thing that you think about after you think about, you know, establishing some credit is maybe some career development. And that's, you know, an area that you guys work in as well is career development and explaining the different roles and talk a little bit about how First Source is a partner in career development.
Absolutely. For instance, yesterday afternoon, I actually visited MVCC and had a class of our C-STEPs and STEP students. And we rolled in a little bit of financial literacy, but the main idea was to actually fill them in on different careers within the financial institution. And I think that everyone is usually pretty taken back by the amount of different departments that are actually inside. When you think of a bank or a credit union, you first think of the teller line, right? You walk into a branch, you make a deposit or a withdrawal, and it sort of ends there because those are your typical needs. But where does all that go? You know, there are back office departments like our deposit operations, our loan operations, and our finance groups, you know, where they take all of their experience in education and actually put it straight into those roles and, you know, allow our team to run like a well-oiled machine. And so you have a choice of being out front and being those people that all of our members see right offhand, or being in the background and making the magic happen, more or less.
Yeah. So, and you guys really celebrate your team in really unique and fun ways, don't you?
Yes. For instance, this afternoon, today is actually First Source Employee Appreciation Day, which I'm so extremely excited for. You can see the smile on my face. We will be closing early at 4 o'clock today. Our CEO, Tom Newman, was gracious enough to give us that gift. And at 4:30, the celebration will begin at the Onondaga Theater for every employee of First Source. We have not been together in 3 years. We've tried to do this, you know, virtually, and it's just not the same. And the pandemic has really kept all of us, our family, separated. And we're really looking forward to just seeing each other again, meeting the new employees that we haven't yet met that were hired on during the pandemic. What's really fun about the night is we get dinner and a live band usually,
Oh, nice.
but our HR department always puts on a secret skit So they have some kind of fun skit or something planned for us.
You have to tell me about it afterwards.
Absolutely, I'll share.
Yeah, let me know what happens.
Yep.
So the title of this podcast is called the Leveling Up Podcast, and you kind of talked about how you guys haven't been together in 3 years, but what have you done either personally and professionally over that time to really kind of level up, get yourself through the pandemic, kind of get yourself to this new point in your career? What things have you done lately to level up?
Well, certainly, that's a good question, Carrie. A lot of things have changed. And I think that learning to communicate and educate and getting used to this virtual world that has taken us leaps and bounds, hasn't it? I mean, you and I have met virtually. I hold a lot of classes virtually for students who are still, not yet in the school. Maybe, they prefer to stay home, and some do get that choice. So I think it's great to have that ability nowadays. You can even put last-minute one-on-ones together and just say, hey, let's FaceTime today. And, I really think that the dedication that my team has also put into creating these networking events and really helping me along the way, I think it's been, we've done nothing but grown in the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything that we didn't cover about First Source?
I think we did a great job.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to make sure that I tell you, first off, we have a note here from the Leather Stocking Council. Cristina, hi from the Boy Scouts of America. Thank you again for volunteering as a merit badge counselor for the First Source Federal Credit Union Personal Management Financial Education Program for our awesome scouts. Our scout executive, Raymond Asenbach, says you're one of the best MB counselors we've ever had. So thanks again.
Wow, thank you.
Wonderful testimonial here for Cristina. So you've learned a little bit about, the services that she offers, and you've heard a live testimonial. So if there's something that you sparked your interest, we encourage you to connect with her. How can our guests connect with you, Cristina?
You can actually reach me directly at financialeducation@fsource.org, or see Ferdinand at fsource.org. Or if you do go to fsource.org and look for our education section under our resources, there is a section where you can find my services outlined, and my email will be right at the bottom for you.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit today about there's so many things to celebrate. One thing that we didn't talk about that's coming up is Mother's Day this summer, this Sunday. And First Source has got you covered there as well. Tell us a little bit.
Yes. As another community event, we actually have a Mother's Day plant sale that'll be happening right at our New Hartford location, right on the corner of Middle Settlement and Commercial Drive. We'll have that between Thursday and Friday, and also Saturday, actually, during our business hours. So stop by. And happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Yeah, so happy Mother's Day. I also have to thank, as always, our Platinum Level sponsors. Thank you so much, Cristina, for joining me today. And thank you to our Platinum Level sponsors of the Chamber who support us in everything we do, including in our podcast, the Kelberman Center, Master Vito Hyundai, MVHS, Platinum Nightclub, and Staffworks. Thank you so much for your support. We'll be back here again in 2 weeks on May 18th. My guest is Anisha Briggs, and she'll be talking about a youth employment summit that's going to be put on here in the city of Utica for our youth to talk about a little bit about summer employment. So look forward to that if you have a student that needs a summer job, or if you're an employer who's looking for some extra help this summer. We encourage you to listen and find out more about that. Take care and stay kind, Utica.